My name is the Silver Motion. Pay strict attention to what I say because I choose my words carefully and I never repeat myself. I've told you the who. The where can most readily be described as a tiny room, but there's a vast difference between being stuck in a tiny room and putting that room to work. The what is easy. Recently, I planned and set in motion events to create the perfect YouTube channel. That's also the when. As for the why, beyond the obvious financial motivation, it's exceedingly simple. Because I can. Which leaves us only with the how. And therein, as the bard would tell us, lies the rub. Hey guys, welcome back to the Silver Motion. First of all, thank you so much for your support so far. Today we are going to be talking about movies that they simply don't make anymore, and when they try to make them, they kind of suck. Give me 1 minute to explain which type of movie qualifies for this list. We're looking for very entertaining and, just a solid movie that you can recommend to most people, and most people will come back to you saying like, hey,
that was fun.
But we're not necessarily looking for like Oscar-winning movies. What I'm trying to say is that when you think of one of these movies, you don't think of them as anything like too extravagant when it comes to movies. A few examples of movies that don't qualify for what we're aiming for here are The Lord of the Rings. That ain't qualifying, Fight Club, sorry, doesn't qualify. Terminator 2, sorry, it's too good. The following movies are all a good time, but of course, that's just my personal opinion, and maybe some of you might think that some of these movies are too good for this list, and some of you might hate them. Just let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk about it. With that said, we'll be talking about 5 movies today. There's no specific order whatsoever. Maybe I'll leave the one that I enjoy the most this time around for last. So the one that I had the most fun with. Because, every time I make a video, out of respect for you guys and out of respect for the movie, I don't just go by memory of, a movie that I watched like a couple of years ago. I actually rewatch all of the movies. So I'll probably just go ahead and leave the one that I had the most fun with for the very end. Other than that, there's no specific order here. These are just 5 cool recommendations for you guys. Here we go. The first one, as maybe some of you could tell by the intro of this video, is Inside Man. I believe this might be a good moment to point out that I believe most of you probably have watched the movies that I'm going to be talking about today, but maybe some people haven't. So just in case, I'll keep spoilers and key moments to a minimum. I'll do my best. When it comes to Inside Man, it's just a great heist movie with many layers that you will get to uncover as you watch the movie. It is masterfully directed by Spike Lee. When it comes to the cinematography and how incredibly crisp this movie looks, well, we have Matthew Libatique to thank for, and I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. The cinematographer that you might know from movies like Iron Man, for example. Do you remember how crisp the Iron Man suit looked and how good the overall movie looked? The first Iron Man? Yeah, it's this guy. It just, I don't know. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's like a, super production or whether it's just any type of framing. This guy seems to be really good at making it look, expensive. Within the first few minutes of the movie, you are instantly captivated not only by its premise, but also by how good it looks. Clive Owen and Denzel Washington deliver very charismatic performances. As a matter of fact, I'd say most, if not the whole main cast, is very charismatic in this movie. They all have this, alpha dog feel to them. I believe the magic of this movie resides in the fact that the movie is explaining from the moment you start to watch it how the whole thing will unfold. There's more than one twist, but when the main twist happens, when you see how everything unfolds, even though they've been explaining it to you literally through the whole movie, you're still like blown away by it. I'd be shocked if any of you haven't watched Twister yet. Simple concept. A group of meteorologists, storm chasers, have designed an apparatus that will help them understand how tornadoes work and how to predict their patterns. Here's the kicker. They have to get close enough to the twister or the tornado to get this machine named Dorothy to work because it has to fly inside the tornado for it to work. Quick side note, and I think this might be a theme all through most of the movies on this list, is that the CGI still holds up. Can you tell that it's a 25-year-old movie? Sure, you can tell it didn't come out last year, but when you look at it, in my personal opinion, CGI still looks solid. And there's something about the CGI from the 90s, man, when they were at the point where they were mixing like a lot of practical effects with the CGI that really, I don't know, it really felt like sometimes more real than what we get today. I don't know. Another cool thing that I wanted to point out about Twister is how there's a big cast. These are a big group of guys, that are, together. They travel as storm chasers, as I explained earlier. But one of the good things about this movie is how you get to know each of the characters. Don't get me wrong, at the end of the movie, you don't remember most of their names or any of their names, but the movie makes sure to give them just enough time in front of the camera for you to know who they are. I can think of a few movies that have attempted that today, or not too long ago, and it just didn't work out. It seems like they have to keep the cast small for it to matter. Every time they try to put a big group of people together, except for a few movies, things get rough. Next on our list, we have The Fifth Element. I used to watch this movie a lot as a kid, and I mean a lot, like a lot. So when I decided to watch it again to make this list, I was shocked at the fact that it had been at least 4 or 5 years since I had seen this movie, and I remembered every single detail about it as I watched it. I wasn't really surprised by any scene or by anything because I remember every single second of the movie in the most wonderful way. This movie is visually stunning, and most, if not all, of the special effects still hold up today. This might actually be Bruce Willis' most fun movie, and man, we know that guy made a lot of fun movies. The whole cast is on point. You'll laugh your ass off with Chris Tucker. He's super fun in this movie. You're gonna love to hate Gary Oldman. By the way, Bilbo is here. Yeah, actor Ian Holm. He's actually an integral part of the movie, and you'll have a great time with him too. And you will also see Mila Jovovich kicking ass physically and from an acting perspective. One thing I would like to say about Mila Jovovich is that I always felt that she's one of those actresses that never fully reached her full potential. I believe she kind of made a mistake, just chasing that Resident Evil franchise, and we never truly got to see how good she truly was or she truly is. But The Fifth Element is definitely proof of her range as an actress. I guess one of the most unforgettable things when it comes to The Fifth Element is the soundtrack and musical scoring, how it is totally integrated in each scene, becoming much part of the movie. It's almost like the entire movie is an opera. When it comes to The Fifth Element, I would like to end by saying that this movie is prime example of the type of movie that I'm talking about in this new series of they don't make them like this anymore. The other day I went ahead and watched Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets, which is made by the same director, Luke Benson, and I didn't give a heck about the movie. Did it look awesome? Yeah, it looked beautiful. It was it was super. It was stunning to watch, but I just didn't care about anybody in the movie, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know what it is. I can't identify it. Maybe it's the dialogue, maybe it's the casting, maybe I don't know. But I think we're missing certain elements in movies today that used to make an average movie great. And now we gotta talk about 1999, The Mummy. The very first thing that I noticed about this movie when it started is that I didn't remember the freaking music being so damn good. The whole intro feels as this really cool theater piece.
Body. They raced deep into the desert, taking Anaxunamun's corpse to Hamunaptera, city of the dead, ancient burial site for the sons of pharaohs, and resting place for the wealth of Egypt.
Just look at this freaking cool shot,
For
man.
his love.
This movie has so many cool elements and definitely a touch of creepiness. This is definitely a movie that had a few moments that scared me as a kid. This is definitely one of those movies that, pretty much any kid can watch. Like, I don't know, any kid above the age of 7 can probably watch this movie. But they'll definitely be creeped out by some scenes. There's some like creepy scenes in the freaking Beatles. What about the freaking Beatles? I remember being a kid and actually thinking of those Beatles as the number one reason I would not go to Egypt, because I actually believed they existed. So, yeah, that's a thing that I thought. I was watching the movie and I thought to myself, Rachel Weisz does a really good British accent. When I think of Rachel Weisz, I think of her from the movie Constantine, to be honest. By the way, I love that movie and we're definitely going to be making a video of it. But anyway, so I went ahead and, I Googled Rachel, and only to find out that she is actually British. So yeah, she's really good with a British accent. Like really good, like as in she was born there. Then we have Brendan Fraser, who recently had an insane comeback with The Whale. He definitely takes this movie to the next level when it comes to how fun it is, and just all the cool little things this movie has to give. And at the end of the day, that is what The Mummy is. It's just an incredibly fun adventure, and I'd be shocked to hear if you haven't watched it. Please go ahead and let me know if somehow I'm that magical person that introduced you to The Mummy. Alright, and now we finally arrived to my favorite movie of the bunch. And again, this is just how I feel this time around. So this time around, after watching all of these movies, this is the one that I had the most fun with. Ask me in a couple of years and maybe I'll tell you a total different movie. But this time, it was True Lies. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, every time I make a video about a movie, whether it's 1 movie, 2, 5, I don't care, out of respect for you guys and out of respect for the movie, I go ahead and watch them again. So, I go ahead and tell the Silver Motion family, hey, I'm going to be watching True Lies, because I'm making a video. And, they're all like, okay, so we'll watch it with you. So I replied,
I say splendid.
Then the movie starts, and immediately Silver Motion Jr. is like, wait, I've watched this before. Is this with Arnold Schwarzenegger? I'm like, yup. He's like, yes, this movie's freaking awesome. And just like that, I remember that was exactly how I used to react when this movie would come up on TV when I was a little kid. In True Lies, you can feel how happy and comfortable Arnold is in the movie, and it really shines through the screen. It's like director James Cameron told him, hey, I got this movie, no worries. There's a ton of cool action, but this one, we're gonna have a ton of fun with it. Are you in? And Arnold, of course, replied, heck yes, I'm in. This is just a solid action movie all the way through. And at this point, you can tell Arnold's, he's just got the full-blown confidence and he knows he can do no wrong. He's got it. He knows he's got it. And he has a ton of fun with it. Now, Tom Arnold is in this movie. He's, Arnold Schwarzenegger's that main partner. And he is extremely funny. Like, he takes the comedy level of this movie, I don't know, to 11 when he's on screen.
Oh, thank God.
Helen has something to do with Helen, I'm guessing. Helen
is having an affair.
Welcome to the club, man. Nobody thinks it can happen to them the first time, buddy. Same exact thing happened to you with wife number 2. Remember? I had no idea nothing's going on, right? I come home one day and the house is completely empty. And I mean completely empty. She even took the ice cube trays out of the freezer.
I really love how self-aware this movie is. They even have Charlton Heston as freaking Nick Fury, as the Nick Fury of this movie. Look at him. The guy even has an eye patch. Like, come on. The movie has tons of amazing action scenes. And I have to ask, am I the only one who thinks about Mission Impossible? When I watch the bathroom scene here, I'm pretty sure Mission Impossible took a lot of inspiration from this bathroom scene. I guess the elevator pitch for this movie will be like, think of James Bond, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 90s, with, a good bit of humor in it. It even has that James Bond girl, you know the one that I'm talking about?
She's beautiful, no question about it, but she looks like the kind of chick that James Bond would smash, but not trust.
There's a 10 out of 10 chemistry between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. Quick side note on this movie, by the way, and free YouTube plug, I guess. This movie's for free on YouTube, so you can actually get out of this video and literally go watch this movie for free on YouTube. So, just letting you guys know. As I mentioned, this is just a solid action movie all the way through, and there's plenty of awesome, Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners that, like I said, back in the day, they worked. They just used to work. When they try to do something like that now, it just doesn't land for some reason. Coming back to Jamie Lee Curtis, I really think that because of the type of movie that this is, her performance goes a bit unnoticed. She's so freaking good in this movie. It's almost too good for this movie. Alright guys, that was it for the video. And again, these are just some fun movies that I like to put together. I'm gonna make a series. I'll continue this series of they don't make them like this anymore. Because the purpose is simple. If I can get one of these movies to somebody that haven't watched them before, mission accomplished. And again, if maybe it's been a while since you watched The Fifth Element and you're like, holy cow, The Fifth Element, I haven't watched it in forever, and now you go watch it and have a great time with it, that's the point of the video. And I am very, very thankful that you guys are here to watch. Your support means a lot. If you enjoy the content, you already know what to do, guys. Thanks again. This is the Silver Motion. I will see you on the next one.